In America, we respect the right to protest. It's a First Amendment right. However, in many cities, peaceful protests for George Floyd have turned violent. Coast-to-coast rioters, they're setting cities on fire, damaging property, assaulting law enforcement officials, and looting stores. Federal law enforcement officials say that the unrest points to far-left groups like Antifa. Joining us to discuss, Stacy Washington. She's the co-chairman of Project 21, a black leadership network working to condemn politically motivated riots that have erupted across America. Stacy, thank you for being with us this morning. We have heard President Trump classify Antifa now as a terrorist organization. Do you believe that there were members of Antifa sparking violence at some of these peaceful protests we've seen across the nation?
Actually, I've written about this 3 years ago. I wrote an in-depth expose for an NRA publication on Antifa and connected them back to George Soros-funded groups and a number of leftist activist groups that use Antifa as a sort of mob action arm where they go into cities, and especially Portland, Oregon is one of their hot spots, but they've been seen in countries across the country, in cities across the country, doing this kind of really difficult work. It's busting heads, it's beating up grannies, it's attacking police officers. And Andy Ngo, who is a journalist who's been, just relentless and dogged in his pursuit of the truth about Antifa, has covered all of their activities, including the milkshakes they like to throw, which is a mix of Quikrete and water that actually is toxic to human skin and can burn you. And so he was attacked with a concrete milkshake at a rally. And so the proof is ongoing, and the president's action by calling them a terrorist organization is entirely appropriate. Peaceful protests have been hijacked, and I've seen video online, live video that was streamed, so this is not edited, on Instagram and on Twitter, of Antifa activists. They're wearing the garb, black from head to toe, black mask. They have a spray can, and they're tagging buildings in inner city neighborhoods with the words BLM and expletives. And a black woman walks up to them with her camera live streaming and says, "What are you doing? You're not doing this on behalf of Black Lives Matter. We're a peaceful group."
Yes. Stacy, I think you're referring to Nia Miranda, and we had her on the show yesterday talking exactly about that moment that you're referring to there.
Yep.
They weren't asked by members of the Black Lives Matter movement to be doing that, and she confronted them, and she stopped that. I do want to get your take on this, though. We've seen some mysterious piles of bricks. They seem to be popping up near some protest sites, none of which are near construction areas. So because you have been studying the Antifa movement, would this be similar to their MO? Could these bricks be placed by members of that movement?
Well, I would say yes. The logic tells us the simple answer is usually the correct one. So in areas where there are no construction areas going on, so no signs of other construction, you see pallets of bricks. Sometimes they're plastic containers of bricks. They're marked as delivered to Public Works, but the people who are delivering them down south, they're being delivered by Acme Brick, which is owned by a Pritzker family member. So the Pritzkers are notorious for their leftist activism. They have a governorship in Illinois, which is a failed state with more outgoing population than ingoing. And so this is just logic saying if protests erupt, and within 48 hours of protests erupting, all of a sudden pallets of bricks are showing up, and Antifa members dressed all in black are hurling the bricks through glass structures and damaging public property and private businesses, then we know that this is a part of a coordinated effort. And my hope is that as the FBI and our other intelligence agencies are moving into cities across the country to investigate these acts, that the people who are involved will be brought to justice and charged with what they're doing, which is terrorism and mob activity.
Yeah, we got to leave it at that. Really great talking to you. Stacy Washington, Project 21 co-chairman. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.